Taking a look at the energy markets today, I want to focus on WTI. WTI down on a day, giving up some ground really the last couple days as we see this recessionary talk kind of take hold in the marketplace. We saw WTI settle right around the 58.82 level, 58.82. We saw a high of 59.34 and a low of 58.12 today. So pretty good range in WTI. Again, reacting to some of the news items. We saw some volatility in the equity markets. We also saw some volatility in the bonds and interest rate environment, and that worked its way into the commodity space as well. Looking at the driving theme here starting the week is the growth story. The global growth story continues to take center stage, and that's putting some downside pressure on WTI. There's still some concerns now as we see some of the interest rate environment shifting dynamics, particularly when we saw the 3-month and 10-year go to an inversion last week. It's stealing the headlines, and we're seeing some weakness across the globe as well. So that growth story continues to be called into question, and with that, we're seeing some downside pressure on the commodity space in WTI, as well as, again, the interest rate environment. We saw the German bond go to negative yields last week, the 10-year German bond. We're seeing, again, the dynamics here play out in the U.S. markets, and we have a lot of items this week that could influence the interest rate environment, which could spill over right now into the equity and commodity space as well. So keep an eye on that. Looking at supply information this week, I think that's really going to take center stage. We did see the big draws last week in both the API number and the EIA number. We get the API number tomorrow, EIA on Wednesday. I expect that there's going to be a lot of traders focused on that number this week, considering the fact that we saw a much larger draw last week than the market had anticipated. So also, the technicals are in focus here. When you look at the charts, some of the charts are indicating that we're seeing a little bit of a top here, but ultimately we did see WTI push out to 2019 highs. So not unusual for it to give up some ground given the current environment. But $58, I think, is a nice support level here. When you look at the technicals, that goes back to the February top that we attained, and now we're kind of trending back there a little bit. So you have some decent support there. And also, when you look at this short-term downtrend, really 3 days of a downtrend, 3 out of the last 4 days, we're seeing WTI lower, but ultimately not giving up really too much ground relative to some of the other dynamics in the marketplace at this point. And I think primarily due to the fact that we continue to see the production being called into question. You know, we're seeing the production cuts taking hold, and we're seeing U.S. production topping out. So that's helping to at least support the price of WTI as we move through some of these inventory numbers and some of the other dynamics in the market this week.